All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast, episode 306. I'm Rick Shiels, here with co-host Guy. It's the day after the Open at Royal Portrush, and I actually think you called it in last week's podcast. Would we be sat here this week surprised if world number one, Scottie Scheffler, won the Open? No, we are not. He was incredibly dominant, and I've got to admit, Guy, I said it a few months ago, or maybe 6 months ago, a year ago. Was I the biggest Scottie fan in the world? No. I have now become I'm a glory hunter. I am a bona fide Scottie Scheffler super fan.
Me too. I woke up today a little bit of an open hangover. I think I won too many shots yesterday because I watched a lot of the golf. I watched from before Scottie Scheffler teed off right through until the end. And I think the story of today's podcast is not only going to be the Open Championship, obviously, and the dominance of Scottie Scheffler, but what that means for golf, because there's been talk of it being boring. There's been talk of it being exciting. There's people kind of somewhere in between. There's lots to digest today and go into. And I'm very keen to hear your thoughts. I've asked people on the Facebook group as well what their thoughts are on Scottie and his dominance and how he goes around his business. Does he get excited? Does he only enjoy it for 2 minutes? All these different things people aren't quite maybe digesting correctly. I'm excited to dig in.
Yeah, I really am. I'm more excited about this podcast than any other so far this year because I think there's so much to unpack. I mean, I've got notes, you've got notes. There's lots and lots to talk about. I think on the topic of whether it was boring or not, for me, it wasn't. I thought the final day had. I actually wanted, if anything, I wanted him to have an even bigger lead. Like, I almost wanted him to overlap the chasing pack because, again, when you saw Tiger doing that many years ago, it's like, how much can he actually win by? Can he win by 10? Can he win by 12? Like, it's unbelievable. It got close-ish after he made that double bogey on 8, but he was so in control. I mean, I would have literally bet my life the fact that he would have won that golf tournament yesterday. Yeah, I still watched every single shot because I just thought it was fascinating.
When you say it got close, in theory, in terms of shots, it kind of got close-ish when you get down to that 4 or whatever it was at one point, and then I think it finished at 4, obviously. But the way he started off the day kind of made me realise it was never going to be close because that first hole is so tight. Obviously, I think the Sky Sports had that graphic on all day of out of bounds left, out of bounds right, and it's quite tight, and they were hitting irons off that tee that day. But still, we can all shank one. Nah, I can anyway. When he started off on the first hole, I think he put his second shot to 1 foot 4 inches for birdie, and he knocked that in. I think that set the tone for the day, that you could, and not that I would advise this, you could have turned the TV off there and then and been quite comfortable in not watching anything all day and going to bed knowing that Scottie Scheffler had won the Open Championship. That's how dominant he now is, that you just don't see him losing it.
If any other player was that far ahead, I can't name another player in history right now that's playing golf that would have won being that far ahead. Rory, I wouldn't have bet on Rory.
No.
If Rory was 5 or 6 shots clear, I wouldn't have bet that I wouldn't have bet my life that he's going to close.
Well, who's the one
out.
name you think of straight away?
Tiger.
Correct.
The only person, literally the only golfer in the last 20, 30 years who has had such a dominant kind of stranglehold of a lead, because Scottie Scheffler, I believe now, has gone however many 54-hole leads.
10 now.
Without losing a tournament.
It's crazy.
So he stood with 1 round left to play, regardless whether he's got a 1-shot lead or a 7-shot lead. He has closed out on 10 tournaments in a row from that position. And I just didn't think anything was going to change yesterday. I thought the par save he made on 6 was incredible when he hit that first rogue iron shot that finished short of the green, wedged up there, hold a 20-footer for par. He then struggled on the 7th hole, the next hole, hold that great putt again for par. Yeah. Weirdly made that double on 8, which was from nowhere, and I think he kind of just fell asleep for 1 hole, quite literally. But then he birdied 9 straight away, and it's like he's back. In that stretch of holes between 6 and 9, for him to only have dropped 1 shot, where really, in that little stretch, his back was up against the ropes a touch, but it didn't matter. And then once he'd made that birdie on 9, it was quite literally a done deal.
I think that was the big takeaway from me. Is I sometimes feel like this might sound a silly thing to say, but if a non-golfer friend said to me, why was Tiger Woods so good at golf? There's many things you could unpack. He could do everything. He was an amazing putter, his iron play. But you also had this competitive nature that he was almost like a robot that other golfers were scared of, and that was why he was so dominant. His desire to win, his emotion, he had everything in abundance. You look at somebody like Bryson, he hits the golf ball absolutely miles. He looks everything like a scientist. He knows all the slopes of the greens, all this other stuff. Roaring, absolute athlete. When you think of Scottie Scheffler, it's kind of like, well, he's great off the tee. His iron play is now good. He's now putting really good. But he doesn't necessarily excite you to watch him. But one thing yesterday he did, those 2 putts that you said on 6 and 7, I think it was a 16-footer, 15-footer, knocked them both in for par. That just showed that he's got everything, but there's just almost no way of beating him.
You know what he's got more than anything? Grit.
Grit. We like grit.
He is a grit. Imagine playing him in a match. You just know. It doesn't matter. Like, obviously, I do these 10-shot challenges against pros. I could give him a 20-shot challenge, 20 head start, or the other way around. He'll give me a 20 head start. He'll beat me. Because and I could have the best round of my life. I could shoot level par. Somehow he's going to shoot 20 under par and beat me.
Did you see, there's going to be lots of chat, and we'll do it today, this discussion between Tiger Woods and Scottie Scheffler in comparisons. Did you see the stat on first to fourth major?
How wild is that?
For those listening who haven't seen it, you probably have by now. From Tiger's first major win, obviously the Masters 97, to his fourth major win, was 1,197 days to do that feat. Yesterday, Scottie Scheffler won his fourth major in exactly the same 1,197 days.
How weird is that?
It's insane.
I mean,
Tiger was a lot younger, four years or so younger, but still.
Well, was he 21 when he won his first
so he would
major?
have been 25-ish.
I mean, that's mental.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many comparisons at the moment between Scottie Scheffler and Tiger. Time will tell. Who knows?
That's the key, isn't it?
Time will tell.
It's time.
I'll be honest, I've listened to a lot of Scottie Scheffler this week, and he's been, as much as he's not very vocal out on the golf course, he's quite reserved and kind of quite, you'd almost think quite kind of flat. He'd said a lot of very interesting things this week. His pre-tournament interview, press conference, which was 30 minutes long, got clipped like crazy this week because Scottie Scheffler claimed that a tournament win, like winning the Open, that the amazing feeling he has inside will only last 2 minutes. It's mad, that, innit? And that was the clip that was circulating around. If people had properly listened to that interview, the full 30 minutes, what he said has been taken totally out of context. And unfortunately, that is social media, that's the press, that's media. It was very interesting hearing about what he focuses on, what he believes in. He's very much about the process. Like, he's obviously addicted to practice, which, again, the more time I spend with talented players, I think they're more addicted to the process than they are about tournaments. Like, they just love practicing. And in Scottie's defense, when he talks about these kind of small 2-minute win, he doesn't quite literally mean 2 minutes, but from winning the Open, even the interview straight after winning the Open, instantly the conversation goes to, what about the US Open next year to complete the Grand Slam? What about the tournament next week you're playing in? What about the Ryder Cup? It's like he almost has no real time to enjoy that claret jug. Like, he's got no real, weeks. He's not got weeks off, has he, now, to just go and live his life and drink every drink possible out of that claret jug and spend time with his family and all these other things. And that interview before the tournament, the press conference, if you listen to it a lot, there was a lot of questions aimed at him about responsibility of being world number one. There was one interviewer asked him, as the world number one, almost, I believe it's your responsibility to travel the four corners of the world and do all these other things. And his response was, is it? Is it really? He's got a young family. I'm guessing he's going to have more children. He's got a wife. What suits him in his life at the moment is spending time in the USA, playing on the PGA Tour and practicing, working really hard. Obviously winning lots of golf tournaments. He's now won 91 million in career earnings.
Crazy.
I think that might be dollars, $91 million in career earnings. But I think in that press conference, he kept getting kind of poked from different angles. And I think the last question kind of just tipped him over the edge that little bit too far, when he was like, what does it even matter? Like, genuinely, what does it? Why do we even care? And I think it's very difficult for us, for listeners, for viewers to kind of grasp that, because we would genuinely believe winning the Open would be the greatest achievement. Even just playing in the Open, we'd be smiling forever and ever and ever. But that's not reality, is it? Things don't last forever. Like, you know, I went to the Oasis concert last Wednesday. One of the best nights of my life. Quite literally, I was stood in that moment going, I don't know if life gets any better than this. This is unbelievable. You leave the venue, you wake up the next day and life's normal again. You think, oh, it was only a fleeting moment. But like, it's mad.
I understand that, and I think everyone will have things in their personal life that they might have trained for or done something for and done that moment and it was amazing, and life kind of moves on. But I also think as well, Scottie Scheffler's mindset, he is a champion. That's undoubtable now. He's won 4 major championships. If he doesn't want to do anything else in his career, he will go down as one of the best golfers of all time. You know, he's in that conversation with 4 major championships. Obviously not the top number of that, but, you know, an amazing level of golfer. But, you know, I'll just pick an example why I'm thinking of kind of the whole Irish connection with the Open, obviously being in Northern Ireland this week. Darren Clarke has won 1 major championship. He won the Open in 2011 at the age of 42 years old. And obviously he'd had the passing of his wife beforehand, so many kind of emotional connections to that event. But for someone like Darren Clarke, he is probably, I'd imagine, and not without speaking to him personally, that will be a moment that will never, ever, ever leave him, because at the age of 42 to win the Open, what I'm sure he classes the biggest event in golf. Scottie Scheffler is a 29-year-old guy who was a champion, who he's almost just telling them off now. And it is probably on to the next one, on to the next one. I think that fact that he doesn't let it get to him so much is exactly why he is so good.
The only thing is, just to quick, I don't know. Again, we don't know what the future holds. Who knows? For Scottie, though, I feel like it could really go 2 ways. In 20 years' time, we could be sat here on episode 2000 of the podcast saying, finally, Scottie Scheffler has won 20 majors. He's become the most decorated major golfer ever. There's no question anymore. It's not Tiger or Jack. It's Scottie Scheffler. Likewise, he could disappear. Likewise, he might say next year, win the Grand Slam and go, thanks everyone. That's me. I'm off. I'm retiring. I'm packing up my clubs. I've got 100 million in the bank. I've got 4 kids. Well, you won't have 4 kids by next year, but he's got multiple kids.
Busy guy.
He's, he might just go, I've done what I've needed to do. I'm now going to pursue something else. I'm now going to, he's obviously a really religious person. He might say, I'm kind of done with golf. I'm now going to take my wealth and donate it, or I'm going to do something incredible in the community. I'm going to spread love elsewhere. He could disappear.
I know, but I think back to what you're saying now, it almost counters itself, because that would be, if he won the Grand Slam, I'm done. He's not doing it to win, is it? He loves the process.
Oh, no, he could
Will
do
he
it.
ever give up the process?
He might just go and practice every day.
Well, there you go.
He might just say, you know what? I'm actually done with traveling. I don't even want to get on another aeroplane unless it's on holiday. I'm just going to go to my golf club every day, practice, get a little bit better, not playing tournaments, got 100 million in the bank. It's just...
I think Roy would love that to happen.
For himself or for Scottie?
For Scottie.
Yeah. But what I'm saying there, like Tiger, that was never going to happen, was it?
No.
Like Tiger, I mean, even now, like he's literally on his bloody... He's injured, he's been stitched together, he's been bloody filled with steel rods. He's done everything to make himself come back as a professional golfer. In his head, he's not going to quit still till he gets to 18. Is he really?
No.
Tiger. As much as it might not, his body might not let him, I think Scottie might just go, I'm done. I'm all right now. He said it in the presser, like if golf got in the way of his life with his wife or his kids, he'd pack golfing. I mean, it's just, I really like him. I don't know why. There's something about him that this week I've kind of come away being a fan of Scottie Scheffler, really respecting him and appreciating him, to literally coming away this week and going, he's different. This guy's bloody different.
Yeah, I agree. I really like him, and I think his golf is unreal. I think I can, though, not saying this is the right. I can understand why people sometimes maybe don't like him, but don't like him doing so well. And I asked the thing on Twitter, like, is Scottie Scheffler's dominance fun to watch or boring? It's like 2,000 votes. 60% said boring. 40% said fun, so obviously more people think it's boring. And then Alan Graham on the Facebook group said today, the Open was pretty boring, and there was no real challenge, but also he's undoubtedly a super golfer, but he's emotionless. He doesn't inspire or connect with people. He obviously doesn't love what he does. It's just business. He's not a golfing superstar, but very good at what he does. So I kind of feel like, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that whatsoever, but I think as fans, we sometimes want golfers to react how we would react. And imagine winning the Open or hitting a shot on the 18th green. You're there in 2, fine, no problem.
I'd be starfishing in the bunker.
Yeah, exactly. Topless, pants off,
topless,
fully
pants
naked.
off. I mean, I'd be banned for life.
Yeah, but you'd have the claret jug.
It'd be covering my modesty.
Well, you'd need a bit more than the claret jug, mate.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
I'm very happy with that.
I need a tea peg. Tea peg would do me.
But you're right. Like, it's very, very difficult to comprehend, and it really is. And you know, like anything we achieve in life, and it's, you know, your wedding day. Most people listening, watching, might have got married, like, or the birth of your first child. You feel like, oh my God, is life going to get any better than this? This has to be the great, but it fades, doesn't it? It doesn't last forever.
Yeah,
and the lovely memories and the things. It's just very difficult to comprehend. Is it boring though? Going back to this, is it boring because nobody else is doing anything? Is it boring that, like, why could there not have been 3 or 4 people matched with him yesterday? Like, it's not out of the realms of possibility. Did they just need to play a bit better? If Bryson had gone out and had
that's the problem.
If Bryson had gone out and had a great first round, it would have. Imagine a Scottie, Scheffler and Bryson final 2.
Well, also, if you take Scottie out of it, how close that field would have been. 13 under, 12 under, 11 under, the 10 unders. It would have been a different tournament.
There was 6 tied on second place at one point. Like, it would have been electrifying with Rory being like up there. I think Scottie, he was very nice and polite in his interviews. I don't think he loved the being an away player. He felt like he was, you know, obviously 99.9% of the crowd there at Royal Push, rightly so, from Northern Ireland, were supporting Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
They would have done anything to will him over the line yesterday. And if anything, they were very respectful of Scottie, but they're not going to be cheering for him. Obviously, you felt that, and he talked about that in the press conference afterwards. But like, I just thought it was fascinating. Would I like to see more emotion? Yes. Are we going to get any? No. The biggest emotion we saw when he saw his wife yesterday on the side of the green. It's the biggest emotion we saw. That's okay. Like, you know, that's okay. He doesn't. Does he need to inspire the next generation? It's not his job. He doesn't see that as being his job. His job is to practice, get really good at golf, enter tournaments. If he wins, he wins. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He's obviously annoyed if he doesn't. He's talked about that, and then goes on to the next week and kind of just ticks it along. It's wild. Just one quick one. I think one of the most impressive stats yesterday, or the whole tournament, and I so wish he'd finish this off to complete this 4 holes. The 16th, arguably one of the hardest par 3s in the world, 230 odd yards. Like, luckily when I played it last year, I actually holed a 70-footer off the side of the green for a 2, which is so rare there. He birdied it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and he just missed out on birdieing it. He nearly birdied that hole, 220 yard, 30 yard, like Calamity Corner, where the right hand side of the green is dead. It goes off into this bankment. He nearly birdied it 4 times in a row.
I'm sure I saw a stat, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he played the par 3s better than the par 5s this week.
Is that right?
I'm sure I saw that, which is insane. But yeah, what an unbelievable performance. Scottie Scheffler, he's going to go on to win more events, going to go on to win more majors. He is, for sure, going to win another one and level up with Rory. He's probably going to overtake Rory. Is he going to get anywhere near Tiger? Time will tell. But also, I mean, although Scottie Scheffler clearly stole the headlines, and rightly so this week, there were so many little narratives that I think we should just dive into, because Rory came obviously tied 7th. The vibe I got from Rory was obviously he would love to have won, clearly. But I think after the Masters and winning that green jacket and finally getting that career Grand Slam, I think just coming, making the cut and being up there and just kind of showcasing that to the fans, I think that was kind of enough for him.
Yeah,
in a weird
2019,
way.
He didn't make the cut, did he?
No,
he
went out of bounds on the first.
I mean, I must admit, I was watching him on that Thursday, tee it up on that first hole. Is a horrible first hole, and I looked at him going, please just get it down there. And I think he was so relieved once he hit it down there.
Weird question for somebody like Rory, who is so competitive and so good at golf. Would he have taken a tied 7th if he's on Thursday morning?
No.
You still not think he would?
No, but I think he's probably going to come out this week going, I gave that a fair. And I think he probably, he loved the fact that Scottie Scheffler probably dominated it so much. He's like, yeah, even if I'd played a little bit better, I wasn't going to win. I had to play a lot better. Do you get what I mean? His driver was really off again this week.
Do you remember I said to you in the practice round, I watched him and he was spraying it?
I think he hit 6 fairways in the first 2 rounds, which is so unlike him. On that, is he QI10 or?
I think he's QI10, yeah.
Because Scottie Scheffler was QI10. And interestingly, and again, I almost needed to pause the coverage to see this. Am I right in saying he was using a Titleist golf ball?
Scottie Scheffler?
Yeah.
I think he always does.
I thought he was always tailor-made. No, really? Yeah. Right.
I'm sure he always has. Well, just on that,
he
though.
He uses Pro V1 and then Vokey wedges as well.
Right.
And he had a Scottie, didn't he, for a long time until he went to the Spider.
So I think it was like the 15th or something he held, or 14th. He just missed the birdie putt and the whole ball finished right behind the hole and it said like Titleist 6.
Yeah, so basically, I
can't believe that.
I had a bit of a laugh yesterday. This is quite a nerdy thing to say. We had an email off TaylorMade that a lot of the media would get about obviously bragging that he won. And they actually called it the British Open, which was a bit let down by.
Who did?
TaylorMade. The email said Scottie Scheffler triumphs at the British Open.
Can they maybe?
Apparently it's because they can't use it for like name, for the rights and stuff, which I found hard to believe because other brands have since done it. But so obviously they were kind of flexing on the fact that he's using obviously TaylorMade club, TaylorMade putter. I mean, that's a big thing for him. How he swapped that. Obviously there's 2 things. He was not putting great. He went to go and work with Phil Kenyon, obviously a friend of yours.
By the way, shout out to Phil. What a run he's been on recently.
Unbelievable. And he's obviously got this more mallet-shaped putter that I think actually it was Rory who suggested he try one, which he'll be gutted about now. He was using the P7 TW irons, obviously the kind of Tiger irons. He is using a QI10, you're correct. And there's no mention of golf ball. What's interesting though is we had another email off Titleist who were flexing their stats. And one thing that was really interesting to me is that over 2/3 of the field, so 69%, were using a Titleist golf ball. The next nearest competitor was 12%. So in that world of elite professional golf, Titleist are absolutely killing it.
Do you think it was Callaway next?
I think Callum, maybe Shrixon. They have a few up there, won't they? Shrixon.
Yeah.
There's a few.
Or TaylorMade, I guess.
Yeah, TaylorMade. There's a few brands then you kind of getting a piece of the pie. But Titleist are just so dominant in that market. Which is interesting to see. Another name as well, Rick, that a lot of people, our listeners sometimes shout at us for not mentioning, so I thought I would definitely give him a shout out this episode, was Bob McIntyre. He had a tied 7th finish. He shot 10 under for the tournament. 71, 68, 70, 67. So really good final round. But what I then looked into a little bit more this morning, actually, I probably hadn't given him credit for, so fair dues to Bob McIntyre, is his kind of resume now across the major championships and all 4. So it's showing he's got an all-round game. He tied 7th this week, 2nd this year at the US Open. Last year at the PGA, he had a tied 8th. 2021, he had a tied 12th at the Masters. And then in the Open before, he's had a tied 6th back at Portrush in 2019 and a tied 8th at 2021, which would have been St. George's. So every one of the 4 majors now is at a really good finish. He's at his worst, if you like, he's a 12th at the Masters out of the 4 majors. Is Bob McIntyre a kind of name that it doesn't always spring off out the mouth to think of who's going to win the next major? But you're looking at that kind of resume he's building. He's looking pretty solid, old Bob.
Where's his world ranking?
I bet it's pretty high, sneaky. I'm going to go for 30.
Or the other one.
The data golf.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. I'm going to say Bob McIntyre's world ranking number 30. Oh, no, he's
higher.
not. He's 14. And his best ever's 12. Fair play. He's up there.
Another name I'd love to give a shout out to, OG fans of the channel will remember many moons ago, I think 8 or 9 years ago, maybe even before your time was this.
Let's hit.
Turkish Airlines Open, Pro-Am.
Mm-hmm.
I played with Hao Tong Lee.
You did.
And we always have been chatty ever since on social media. He has been through a real roller coaster of emotions, as golf leads you to. When I played with him in Turkey, I think he'd only just turned pro. He's fully sponsored by Nike.
Mm-hmm.
He was previously the number 1 amateur in the world, and I just remember thinking he was really smiley, really laughy. From China, spoke very good but broken English. Will Davidson, who's been on the channel as well, was his caddy at the time. Really got on with him, and he seemed like a bit of a superstar. He's kind of been in the abyss a little bit over the last 10 years, 8 years since playing with me. But no, he's done pretty well since that. And then I think was it last year or early this year, he took a win on the DP World Tour. He seems to still kind of fight with a few demons off the tee. He kind of hits this rogue one every now and again, either a straight pull or a real slicey one out, like way off to the right. He plays this aggressive cut 90% of the time. But for him to finish, was it third in the end at the Open yesterday?
Fourth in the end.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Gets guaranteed for next year, picks up a really nice paycheck. I think deep down he probably knew it wasn't his day to win yesterday. Obviously, he was playing in the final group with Scottie Scheffler. He'll learn a lot from that.
Did you hear about his joke with Scottie?
Was it about practice days?
Yeah, so he said, I'd love to play with you again in the future or something. And Scottie said, oh yeah, that's fine. We can, we'll do that. He said, well, if I text you, make sure you reply. And then apparently Scottie said, like, how Tong who? I said, say like, oh, I won't reply. But
yeah, I thought just great seeing someone like that up there. It's great again for international coverage. There'll be lots of Chinese fans tuning into the Open. Obviously, they love golf so much.
Well, did you hear about he actually quit? So he had an interview, I think, was it after round 3? And they said to him about how, you had a spell where you almost quit for a while. I said, I did. I had 6 months off. I think it was like a couple of years ago. He actually had 6 months away from the game and obviously came back and it kind of worked.
Yeah, he's been a real, it's just great to see him back up there. And we'll definitely see him next year in the Open because top 10 and ties definitely get back in next year. So good news for Scottie. Scottie's going to be back in, not just next year, but for the foreseeable future. But great to see Haotong Li. Now, talk about 6 months out of the game. That's nothing compared to the next story you highlighted to me last night, Guy.
Oh, this is incredible, yeah. So I sent this to you at this video that I was really wanting to watch ahead of today. So if I just spoke to you without you seeing it, I wouldn't have been able to do it justice. So I want to hear your take on it as well. But there was a guy who, I got it wrong. I thought he missed the cut by 1. He missed it by 5 in the end, or 6 even. But there was a guy playing, an Australian guy called Ryan Peake, a 31-year-old who has this incredible story because he was an amazing amateur golfer, played the likes of Cameron Smith in Australia on all those kind of elite teams, great golfer. Got to, I think, about 19 years old and kind of had enough of golf, fell out of love with it and didn't really have a place to fit in, didn't feel like he was part of anything, and joined a motorcycle club, but kind of like not just the guys that go and drive around on the motorbikes on Sunday afternoon. These were kind of quite bad guys and got into a bit of a gang. And there's an amazing video on the Golf Channel. They must have commissioned this kind of piece. It was unbelievable.
By the way, just on that, how did they get Tom Hardy?
This is the mad thing.
They got Tom Hardy to do the voiceover work.
I honestly thought at the start it won't be the real Tom Hardy. It'll be a bloke
called Tom Hardy.
Yeah, and it was the real Tom. It's a 15 minute long documentary, if you like, on the Golf Channel's YouTube channel.
Like a mini movie.
It's unbelievable. So we joined this motorcycle gang and got in with the wrong crowd, and some bad guy who has guns threatened to kill or beat up or shoot, whatever, the motorcycle gang president. So he said, no, I'm not having that. I'll send a few of the boys out to go and teach him a lesson. Ryan Peake's one of these guys. He's quite a scary looking guy, to be fair. Doesn't look like a golfer, really.
Doesn't look like a golfer at all.
They went and met this guy and kind of gave him a bit of a kick in, for want of a better phrase, and he got arrested and got sent down for, I think it was 7 years. I think he served 5, but got sent to prison for a long time anyway. And towards the kind of end of his sentence, with a couple of months or years or whatever left to go, he got approached by his old golf coach who said, look, first of all, how are you doing? I've not heard from you for a while. Didn't even know you're in prison. Are you okay? And then after that said, look, why don't you think about playing golf again? As his time in prison was near an end, he got kind of less and less secure prisons and ended up in a prison where he had that day release, had to then sleep back at the prison. Played some local kind of amateur comp. I think he won, was it the club championship?
Yeah, won the club championship.
And then that night, had to go, right guys, see you later, I'm going back to prison for the night. And turned his life around. And in March of this year, he turned pro again in 2022. And in March of this year, won the New Zealand Open by a single shot, which was unbelievably nervy.
Great up and down on the par 3 final hole.
He did. And winning that qualified him for the Open. So he was there this week at the Open Championship, had a decent enough tournament, as I'd missed out by 6 on the cut, but I'm sure just being there was enough for him, really, and having some level of competitive golf in him. What an incredible story, and what an incredible little movie as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, something that was totally off my radar.
Yeah.
And I'm sure many listeners and viewers won't know about this. I literally had heard nothing about this. Zero. I don't know whether my head was buried in the sand or something. Did you hear anything of it before?
I'd heard a rumble a little while ago, not much, and it just popped up on my YouTube, and I thought, I was on the TV, I thought, I'll watch that, and honestly, because I was glued to it, and I thought, I bet you'll like this, because it was quite fast-paced, but also quite deep.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's great to see him back. I mean, it shows what golf can do for you. There's a real emotional bit in that movie as well, where his dad was basically just saying, like, we just couldn't afford to put him through golf. Yeah. Like, golf's expensive, and you know, in Australia at the time, I'm sure there wasn't a ridiculous amount of funding for golf. And, you know, his dad was just emotional because he probably felt quite responsible for the fact that his son fell out of love with golf and ended up, you know, getting into this biker gang and this, that and the other. But it was fascinating hearing the story, you know, really someone I'm definitely going to follow the story of, Ryan Peake. Yeah, just amazing. And it's a shame he just missed out. He shot a 77 and 73.
Not bad golf, is it?
Would he take it, wouldn't
I know,
yeah. I'd take it.
But just on that note, though, Rick.
Average of 75.
There you go.
I think the reason that Tom Hardy did the voiceover is because he was in a film called The Bike Riders.
And, yeah. Ed with the flexing.
I wonder if they had to pay him a
knowledge.
lot for that. Or
I forgot we've got a resident Aussie.
Well, so
Bloody hell.
we've also got Ben behind the camera, but we've got some not so good news for you, Rick. Well, not for you, but for more Australian listeners, viewers, and people like Ben. So the story of Ryan Peake was really interesting, but on a more sour note, I was looking through before the leaderboard of the Open, and I noticed a lot of Australian flags. About 30 they've got some presence in the Open. 11 players, Rick, were played in the Open from Australia. However, the bad news is only one, that being Mark Leishman, made the cut. 10 of the 11 Australians, and some huge names in there. Adam Scott, Cameron Smith, Mumu Lee, Jason Day, all missed the cut. And to put a little bit more downer on this, because Ben's favourite golfer on the whole planet is Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith is the only player this year to play all 4 majors, missed the cut in all 4. Wow.
What's your as a spokesman for the whole of Australia, Ben, what's your response?
It's too cold.
Yeah, fair play. It's
mad, that, isn't it?
It's mad. I mean, it's great to see they've got so much presence in.
They've got some great golfers.
I mean, every country has, but it's great to see that. But yeah, listen, the Open's hard, like really hard. I think one of the stories that I touched on before was Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, what a weird 4 rounds of golf he had for his opening round with so much promise. He's been playing really well on live. He comes out and for him shoots a pretty horrendous 78. Mm-hmm. Didn't make a single birdie. Not a single birdie on that round of golf. And he, you know, you see clips of him in the thick rough. And at that point, I saw a lot of headlines that he's going to miss the cut. And I'll be honest, I looked at him and went, yeah, I think he is. Surely he's not going to come back from that. Wow, what a mistake. He comes back on the second round and shoots a 65.
That's a nice score,
6 under. He only had, that day, he had 7 birdies. Then on the Saturday, he shoots a 68 steady. Then the final day shoots a 64 bogey, 3 round the golf, 7 birdies, cruised in at, where did he finish?
So he came tied 10, 9 under. Can I give you a question though, Rick? It's very easy for me as a bit more of a, you know, a naive person to look at that score of Bryson and go, oh, if only he'd have shot a 70 on the first round, the 1 under par, he'd have been joint with Scottie and might have gone on to win. However, as amazing as Bryson is, do you think he would have, if he'd have had a 70, would that 65 have come the next day? Or was he just playing purely to try and make the cut? And then, you know, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it, to 100%.
know? 100%. Like, at the end of the day, when he teed it up on Friday, he would have known he has to shoot a number today.
Nothing to lose.
He has to shoot a number. Where a lot of the guys might have shot 68 first round and gone, right, just don't play your way out of the tournament today. So, it's very difficult. He has talked about his struggles with links golf. He definitely looks like over those 3 rounds, that's going to pick him up a lot of confidence moving into. I bet he wished he would kind of play in another links golf course straight away because he's like, oh my, I figured it out. Yeah. He's not playing another links golf course because this week, excitingly, we are at one of yours and my favourite places here in the UK. This week, it is Live Golf at JCB Golf and Country Club. It feels like home to us. We've got all these superstars coming down to our home this week. You've got your John Rahm, your Bryson DeChambeau, your Phil Mickelson, your Brooks Koepka, your Cam Smith. It's a bit more open at JCB, so he might do pretty well at JCB. I played it last week, and you walked around we had the whole crew down. I played it with Sam Horsfield from Majestic last week. That video will be out hopefully Thursday or Friday to give you a bit of an inkling of what the golf course is looking like off the back tee. It's like 7,700 yards. It's playing beautifully at the moment. I think the guys are going to absolutely love it. Fingers crossed the weather is amazing. Again, if you want to come down this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's still tickets available. Click the link in the top line description. And to celebrate the fact there was 19 golfers in the Open, we're giving away 19% off ticket sales. So make sure you click the link, get involved. Great for families, great for kids. You can get up close and personal with the action. Music is pumping. Shotgun start. I think it's about 1 o'clock shotgun start. Loads of things going on. Click the link, top line description to get involved and get tickets for Live Golf at JCB.
What an event it will be. And I'm going to get a link it back into the opener getting here, because one person to watch at Live Golf JCB this week, who is going to be a very much a fan favourite because it's his home venue, is Lee Westwood. Well, I say home venue, it's the JCB, it's the English at Live event. Lee Westwood qualified for the Open this year by going through final qualifying and doing, I think he shot 7 under par at Dundon Links. The Open this year, he had a very respectable tied 34th. He made the cut. I think he led the field in driving as well on strokes gained. He had a bit of, not his finest of final rounds with the 73, but overall, 3 under par, tied 34, 69, 70, 69, 73. What a solid week for Lee Westwood, who's proven that he deserves still to be at these major championships, that he's competitive. Would have loved him to maybe have a little bit of a lower final round and bump up that leaderboard, but he surely has to be happy with that going into that Live event this week.
100%. He had the record, was it joint record, back 9 score of 29. And that, you know what's really impressive about that? Is there one par 5? It's just one par 5, so it's not like he's made an eagle or he's had to make some really good golf happen on that back 9. I think he's playing some incredible golf. I think he's coming into these Opens now. He obviously wants to win a major tournament. Of course he does. He's probably looking at what Phil Mickelson did when he was 50. He's probably looking at what Darren Clarke did when he did. So what's the age difference between Darren Clarke when he won the Open and Lee Westwood now?
Oh, Lee Westwood's quite a lot older. No offence to Lee. Darren Clarke was 42 when he won it, and Lee Westwood is now 52, so we've got 10 years in him.
Oh, wow.
Just one last thing, Rick, on the Open before we go a bit more into JCB, because I'm really excited to talk about JCB because of what a golf course it actually is. One thing that I don't feel like almost gets enough coverage, maybe it does, maybe I'm a bit naive to this. I can't believe how there is a set of twins in the Højgaard twins who Nikolai finished at -8 for tied 14th. Rasmus finished at -7 for tied 16th. They were both, I'm sure, on the same score going into the final round. It would have been amazing if they played together, but they didn't do. Just looking then, the world ranking of Nikolai is 81 and the world ranking of Rasmus is 76, sorry. So there's like 5 places in their world ranking. How mad is that? But yes, twins obviously are very similar, typically in how they look, obviously, or maybe how they have mannerisms, things like that. But to have 2 twins who are amazing at golf and yet doing quite similar things, I don't think it gets enough. It's just like, oh yeah, it's mad.
It's mad. I can't tell them apart at all. When I see them both, I'm like, what? Which one's which? Like, which one played in the Ryder Cup last time?
Was it Rasmus? That's my goal. That's my guess.
That's my goal.
That's my goal.
I honestly can't remember. I mean, it's wild. Is one of them now playing PGA Tour and one of them still?
I think they both are. So I think, this is going to show my knowledge, I think Rasmus got on there first. One of them got on there first. I'm sure the other one got on the second year as well. I'll have to double check that though. But I'm sure they're both now on the PGA Tour. But yeah, incredible.
Are there any other really good golfing brothers? Because you hear it in like football, like the Bellinghams and
Molinaris.
Yeah.
But I suppose Eduardo's not quite the level of Francesco.
But ironically, it was Francesco who caddied for Eduardo in the Masters that time because his Eduardo was a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask.
Brothers. Before you give me any, let me have a think. In the
Fitzpatrick?
The Fitzpatricks. Alex and Matt. Obviously, Matt is head and shoulders above Alex right now, but Alex has got a huge talent. I mean, you've got siblings. You've got obviously Minwoo Lee and Minji Lee. I know that's brother and sister. You've got Ryan Ruffles and Gabby Ruffles. She won recently, Gabby Ruffles. So you've also got cross-gender kind of siblings as well.
Believe it or not,
loads of father-son.
I didn't know this one. Sevi.
No.
Brother, Manuel Ballesteros, was a professional golfer. Obviously not as good as his brother, but they was there. Jay and Jerry Haas.
Oh, yeah.
Tom and Jim Kite.
Tom and Jerry, what are you going to say then?
Brooks and Chase Koepka.
Yeah, good shout. It feels like there's little asterisks though. A lot of them are like, no disrespect to Chase Koepka, 5-time major champion, and Chase Koepka is obviously an amazing golfer. I think that's why the Højgaard are so unique, that they're both like unbelievable.
Because they're twins.
Well, there you go, yeah. There's been a lot of father-sons, and the other father-son that we might start seeing more and more of, I'm sure we will, is obviously Ian Poulter, Ryder Cup legend, and his son Luke Poulter, who's still an amateur, but doing amazing things. I think he's going to have a very bright future ahead of him.
Tiger and Charlie Woods.
Too soon. Too soon.
Nelly and
Jess Corder.
yeah.
And the brother's a great tennis player. Sport, innit? They've all got sporting genes. Just a bit more though on JCB while we have a think.
Whoa! I didn't know this one. I would need to fact check this. Sepp Stracker has a twin brother who is also a competitive professional golfer.
All right, well.
I never knew that.
No, I don't think I did.
Brooks and Brittany Henderson. Interestingly, I never knew this one. Annika Sorenston and Charlotte.
But how many of these though were like?
She won. Charlotta was an LPGA winner in 2000.
Fair dues.
But obviously, the difference is like wild.
Yeah. Just on JCB, Rick, for those listening who are thinking of coming along and make the trip down or up or across, wherever you're from in the UK, it's worth the visit for sure. What a golf course. There's some amazing golf holes on JCB. Some of there'll be a lot of action. Give me a little synopsis. If I'm travelling over I'm coming up from Kent. It's quite a drive. I'm coming up from Kent. I've decided,
2.5 hours.
Yeah, I've decided, you know what? I want to go see. I've seen JCB on YouTube quite a bit. I want to see Phil Mix. I want to see Bryson. I want to see Lee Westwood. See how does he drive it that well in real life? Is it all hype? I'm coming to JCB. Give me some little holes that you think would be good to go and view on, and sell them to me as to why those holes are the ones.
I'm going to give you 3.
Okay, I like that.
I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to start off with if you can stand behind the 9th green. The 9th green is one of the most beautiful par 3s in the country. Little par 3 downhill, playing about 140. The guys have been pitching wedges. You can put some funky pins on there. Behind the 9th green, interestingly as well, there's the Majestic's Arms.
Oh,
there's
baby.
a pub. There's literally a pub where you can get a good, what are they called? Cold pint of lager. You know,
Well, those things you used to drink many moons ago.
Cold pint of bitter or ale. So you can get that in the...
A pint of mead, please.
in the Majestic's pub. I would then say on the side, they've cut loads of trees down between 12 and 13.
Yes.
12 is a drivable par 4, 13 is a great par 5, and actually to the back of you'd actually see the shots into 10. If you can park yourself there and on a little hill, a little mound, a little unused tee box, you can watch the amazing shots coming down 12. You can see the tee shots on 13. You can also spin round and see the approach shots into 10. Oh, yeah. Please. And then last but not least, you'd be daft to, you'd be silly to, it'd just be scandalous if you didn't sit in the massive grandstand, the new purpose-built grandstand behind the 17th tee. Now, the 17th is typically a 240-yard par 3 down the hill to an island green. They're playing it a little bit shorter. They don't want to see these guys make 10s and 11s. So they're making it a little bit shorter. So the worst score they're going to make are 8s and 9s. On that tee box, you can sit there all day and watch the best players in the world hit to one of the most picturesque, beautiful holes in the whole of not just England, not just the UK, not even just Great Britain, not even Europe. Potentially the world. Potentially the world.
You know what? Genuinely, and kind
I
of...
think you're missing one hole.
17?
No?
Just said 17.
Oh, sorry, I was listening. I was looking for something on the laptop.
The party hole.
The party hole. Was that 40?
Well, we're going to be on there, so I don't want too much riff-raff going on around there. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody needs to see me doing a shoey of a 0% Guinness.
Lemonade shoey. Everyone watch out for Rick Shiels. Why? Well, he's had 6 lemonades. It's a bit raucous.
Sugar rush. Yeah. The 14th hole, the party hole. Great little part. Well, I say that. It's a nice par 3. However, you put a grandstand around it and you pump some music and you have some Larry crowd, then it becomes a golf hole. So that's an awesome hole as well, 14. Probably advise not to take kids on 14. Maybe if you're taking the children, go to a different hole. 14's where the action takes place.
The reason, Rick, sorry, I wasn't quite listening to your full description of which hole to go to. I listened to the first 2 then zoned out a little bit. Is because I was doing some research because your offer of 19% off the single day ground pass ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. This podcast is getting recorded and released on Monday, the 21st of July. Apparently that's when it ends. And genuinely now, this has been a bit more kind of serious. You know, some people are absolute live, die hard fans. Some people aren't. Some people are kind of somewhere in between. One thing I honestly, hand on heart, can say, and I went to the very first live golf event at Centurion many moons ago, and this will now be, I've been a couple of others since, obviously. on the ground, if you like golf, or even if you don't really like golf, if you've got a friend who might just want to tag along for something to do, you are going to get up close and personal with some of the best golfers on the planet. That's just fact. Some absolute legends of the game, your Phil Mickelson, your Dustin Johnsons, etc. Some up-and-comers like your Tom McKibbins, your John Rahms, who's obviously an absolute legend of the game, that green jacket in his locker. Some incredible names of golf. With your discount, Rick, it genuinely is quite a cheap day out. You can go, have a good laugh, see some golfers. I really would recommend to have a look at it because it's very, very, very good. Very different to the Open. Those who've been to the Open maybe last week or previously, it's a different vibe. It's just a different occasion, but one thing I can guarantee is you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. And anybody who has any doubts, don't knock it till you try it, because literally it is a different experience and there's room for everything. I love going to the Masters, I love going to the Open, I love going to golf tournaments in general. Live Golf is just a different offering that you're going to want to get involved in because it's epic to watch. Guys, I think that wraps up our wonderful show.
Wonderful. How out of 10 you got to rate your own homework?
It was a Scottie Scheffler-like final round.
Just methodical.
Clinical. You know what you're going to get. There was no massive surprises.
Oh.
It was just, it delivered.
What if I surprise you now, the massive surprise?
Well, it wouldn't be very Scottie Scheffler, would it? Emotionless.
Scottie Scheffler. This is a Scottie Scheffler go, yeah, really happy with that podcast. On to the next one. When's the next one?
When's next? Well, that's it. How can we celebrate this one when straight away next Monday we're making another one?
I know.
Now that we commit to every week, we can't celebrate our podcast anymore. We've done the job, got it done, on to the next.
Back to what Ian Poulter would say, does a postman celebrate delivering the post? He comes and he delivers. That's what we do. We come, we deliver.
Imagine if the postman every day went home and popped a bottle of champagne.
That would be one very happy. But imagine that if we all had that more in our lives, that the little things we do that we completely celebrate more, we'd be happier, would we? If you just celebrate doing the dishwasher, yes! You know what I thought yesterday? Genuinely, I think I have arguably as a junior celebrated with finding a brand new Pro V1 more than Scottie Scheffler celebrated winning the Open. And that isn't far off being a fact. Back in my heyday, being like 13, 14, I'd often spend some days looking for golf balls more than playing golf, and finding a bit of a Maxi Revolution and a Pro V1, that would get more of a fist bump. But hey.
I think I'd have to agree. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching us all.